So understand, before we even get into this video, this tank top loose as shit, but it's okay though. Are we here to talk about my tank top, or are we here to get into this teaching about gatekeepers? So understand, if you stay within this video, because this teaching that we're about to do is like 8 minutes and 9 seconds. But afterwards, we have a presentation to further indicate and further digest the indication of what gatekeepers are. So before we even get into this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more bangers, more divine messages. Let's get right into it, because this junk is ridiculous. Like, do you see this? Like, hold on, let's go and get the full screen. Artist, musician named D1 on being offered record deals to perform homosexual acts by gatekeepers. And this just confirms all the confirmations that the spirit, your spirit, should guide you towards, because it's helping us understand that many people that want to get into these industries, you're not where you want to be at because of what the Most High is trying to tell you in a spiritual sense. Let's get right to it. I'm doing too much talking. Let's get into it.
Do you feel like it's gatekeepers in hip hop?
Gatekeepers in the music industry. Yeah, depending on what part of the industry you're trying to get access to, there's gatekeepers. So if you're trying to get signed to a major label, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on certain media platforms to get interviewed, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on the mainstream radio, you heard me, urban radio, there's gatekeepers. Yes. I would say one last thing about gatekeepers. The only true gatekeeper to what's meant for you in this world is God and your level of integrity. That's the only two gatekeepers, because what's meant for you and what you want, that's two different things. And a lot of times people end up wanting things that ain't of God. And now if you want something that ain't of God, you got to go through gatekeepers. So I'd rather go through God than go through gatekeepers any day. So all these people, all the times that I have encountered these gatekeepers in the industry, and I'm knowing I'm overqualified for something, but I got somebody telling me I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough for this, or I'm not paying enough for that, I had to learn through maturity that that wasn't of God. You feel me? And that's what you got to check. Do you have godly ambition, or do you have selfish ambition? And in this world, it's very easy to have selfish ambition, and that'll take you on a pathway to where you're going through all these gatekeepers who really ain't nobody in the big scheme of things.
You know what's crazy? He's going in. I was letting him go in further, but he's going in. So when it comes down to gatekeepers, or when it comes down to people who are running this different simulation, you got to understand that for what you want to do in life, you will have to go and walk through gatekeepers who are signing your contracts or your endorsement deals, or they're sending you to publishing distributions, or they're talking to executives about you, or getting the magazines to talk about you as well. All these different indications in life that he's talking about is a real life thing. Like, you want to get of that stature, of that notoriety, that fame, that fortune that you want for yourself and your family, then you will have to walk through some doors that you never walked through before. And you will meet some people who will get you to that door because they hold the keys to the doors that you're trying to walk through.
Totem pole of people with integrity and people with morals, values, and principles, these gatekeepers ain't nobody. But in this perverted, sick, twisted industry, these gatekeepers do hold access to certain levels, you know.
And he mentioned that last part because when it comes down to, and we'll get further into that within the presentation as well, but when he's breaking that down, many people that we're trying to get in the office with or the rooms with, a lot of these people are weird, and they're sick for how they think, because they have fantasies to fantasize about people of our color and
first
other
you
colors
get that
as well.
money, then you
And
get that power.
and it's an ego thing as well. So since a lot of people have God complex, because first you get that, and what did the Young Thug say? First you get that money, then you get that power. You feel what I'm saying? So once they get that moolah, because of our energy, because of our currency, they get that power. Why? Because they get that from our energy, from our attention span. And once we give them what they want, then they'll give us what we want as well. So it's an even trade. But of course, on the back end, they're still fucking us over.
Bro, I've had gatekeepers in the music industry who have literally tried to hold a record deal behind their back and let me know, like, look, if you're part of this homosexual act that I'm trying to take part in, you hear me? Yeah, Come on, this door will open real quick for you. Like, I got a song where I talked about that before called The Devil's Playground. Like, this is real, dog. And the only way that type of stuff can work on you is if you let them have all the leverage to where you want what's behind that gate that bad. So that's a real thing.
What's crazy, that's real as well, because the only way that these demons can get power from us is if we provide it for them. So if you want that $100 million contract, if you want that $40 million contract, if you want that certain stature to where you want to be ahead of position of your friends or, you know, your haters or whatever the case may be, a lot of these people, they will do things to you and for you to help boost your life. So that's where you have different people that they're naming within the industry. So as these months go on, then 2024, when in a simulation, they're going to keep on dropping names that are people that are getting exposed for what they're doing behind closed doors because they are blackmailing. So if you expose these pedos, or if you expose these apers or molesters, if you do these things, what do you think will happen to your career, your family, and your name? It'll be tarnished, and then they will eliminate you from society because you are speaking too much truth.
You also got people who, there's a different type of gatekeeper. The gatekeepers who will say, hey, you making too much righteous noise right now. If you just tone that righteousness down a little bit, then we'll allow you into these doors. But you got to tone that down. You got to become a little more vanilla, you heard me? A little more lukewarm, a little more bland, and you'll fit in with us more. So that's the slick gatekeeping.
And the thing is with these lukewarm people or these lukewarm beings, these people are on the fence. They have no emotion, no expression, and they have really no conscious awareness of to what they're doing. Because when it comes down to different doors that you have to walk through, there's like 3 doors that you can say. There's really multiple doors. But for example, you got a door to where, like, so boom, door here, door here, door here. Over here to this right, there's a door you walk through. You can see what's going on, but you can decide to walk out that door. But once you walk out that door, then of course you have to go back to the life that you used to know. The door in the middle, you walk through that door. You see what's going on. You participate in what's going on. And your life, your name, and all the things that you ever wanted in your life will shoot to reality and come to reality. Now, this other door as well, like he just said, lukewarm. So these people who are slick, who think they slick because they're on the fence. You go through this door, it's like you got your toe in there, your ear in there. It's like you see in there, you're not in it, but you in it. But you're not the problem, but you're a part of the problem. So it's like you stay over here, but you over here. Be careful of these people, and that's exactly what he's talking about. So all these 3 of these doors, which one will you choose? One door is of God, but other doors are for fleshly desire, which is the works of Satan and his disciples.
It ain't telling you to all the way, bend over or open your mouth or something like that. It ain't that. But it's telling you, like, dim your light. And what ends up happening is you got so many people that's like, well, that's not that bad. They're not asking me to do nothing super crazy. I just got to dim my light. That's the scariest kind right there. Because a lot of people will be like, wait, I just got to turn it from level 10 to level 5? Man, bet. I could do that, bro. I bet. Now I get accepted? Cool. Next thing you know, you got a whole industry, brother, that's lukewarm. Whole industry lukewarm. So that when somebody that's on fire come along, they looking at it like, whoa, you crazy, hold it.
And I like that how he said that too, because going from like 10 to a 5, it's like when somebody new is coming into any industry that you want to name, doesn't even matter. It's what's crazy, they can be a part of your industry as well. But once somebody new comes in, they're showing their light through all walks of life within these industries. The people who have been there will see the light and be like, hey, bro, they'll do that same exact message or that same exact grooming technique that was placed upon them. Like, hey, bro, you shining too bright, and you talking your shit way too loud. Like, we already got a J. Cole and a Kendrick Lamar, bro, so go ahead and silence that real quick. Like, go ahead and dim yourself a little bit, bro, because you're speaking too much sense, and we have an agenda to push. So don't be on the other side, be with us, bro. If you can't beat us, join us. You already joined us, so don't be like the other people, bro. You're in our fraternity now, our sorority. So, be an example. Don't try to be like everybody else, bro. Come on, like, that's how they thinking. Like, they do not want you to go against the grain, literally.
You shining too bright. Hold on. Chill out, man. You doing the most. You messing up. Man, stop, man.
Facts.
Crazy, man. So I want to backtrack, right? Because, yeah, we definitely got to backtrack, man. So you saying that somebody came up to you personally trying to get you involved into, some homosexual activity?
Me personally, I definitely dealt with that, brother. Like I said, I done rapped about it and everything. So, um,
And the thing is, you're probably wondering, like, who is this guy? If this happened to him and he's not a part of the industry like Jay-Z or Drake or Kanye, Lil Wayne, the list goes on and on, Nas, whatever the case may be. If this happened to him and he's telling you his truth, most people would think to themselves, you didn't make it because you're a hater or because you're just not that good. You're just not the Jay-Z's or the Nas or the Lil Waynes, Kendrick Lamar's, whatever. But it's like, no. There are different doors that you can participate to walk in, but if you know that's not your true purpose or your real walk of life, you're not going to walk through that door. But if you have no dignity, if you have no morals, no integrity, and if you provide no value, then you can be easily manipulated by these industries or by these record labels, and that's exactly what they want. So you have to be open-minded to what he is saying, because he's not providing truth, but he's providing information through his truth.
I don't want the deal that bad. Yeah.
So how did they react when you turned it down? Was they acting funny or?
Yeah. Well, you got that moment of truth. When you realize what's happening, you got that moment of truth where you're like, oh, shoot. Okay, what am I going to do? And that's not the first time in my life where I've had a moment of truth where I knew, like, my action right now can change the course of my entire life, you know? So I knew what time of day it was, and, you know, I wasn't getting down with it. So when I was like, nah, like, I'm good, you know. This was at a music video shoot. So when I was like, nah, I'm cool, you know, for the rest of the day, it was like, oh, no more attention from this person. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, this person ain't really willing to meet with you or talk to you or even like further the idea of talking about working with you. So once you see that you're getting that cold shoulder, or once I seen that I was getting that cold shoulder, I was like, well, I won't be getting signed today. You hear me? And you got to keep it moving. But man, it feel good, man. It feel good to be able to speak about that and be able to speak, like, to say like, oh, I preserved my manhood. Like it feel good. It feel real good. Like that's what you call a life defining moment.
Preach.
Yeah, that's wild, man. So,
and imagine how many of your favorite rappers or favorite artists can say that. They really can't. And you'll probably be like, what would be the whole point of my favorite rapper going through this initiation? That's what comes with the fame and the fortune and the attention, the glamour, the glitz, the gold, all of that, the prosperity, the abundance. People want that fantasizable lifestyle. That's probably not even a word, but who gives a fuck? Because the English language is nothing but a made-up language anyway, including these record deals. So imagine what your favorite rapper goes through behind closed doors. They can't even speak about what they're doing or what they're going through. So imagine when they're trying to speak up in their raps about what their mental is going through. But it's like, as a consumer, you like, man, nigga, fuck your mental health. Nigga, drop your album, drop a new song, drop a single, drop a deluxe. We need that dopamine. So it's like, you can't, as the artist or musician, you cannot get upset because the masses can't comprehend what you're going through. You sold yourself to become a sellout, because what's a sellout? When you're selling out arenas, crowds, functions, all these different things that you wanted before you got hazed or initiated into these fraternities, that is your fault and your choice. So people have a choice to do these things, but then they want to get mad when things don't go their way anymore. That's the whole gist and the whole point of manipulation and puppet mastery, alchemy, all these different grooming tactics by evil corporations.
trickle down. Was they in their feelings? Like, was they trying to block you from doing stuff? Like, yo, we're not gonna allow him to do this, or you know, we're not gonna put him on this platform. He's not gonna host this. Like, what happened, yo?
I got you. You're asking me, is blackballing a real thing?
Yeah.
Yes, blackballing is a real thing. Some people in this industry definitely get mad enough at you if you have bruised their ego, or if you have shown them that you don't need their approval to be successful, then they will definitely do what they can to try to blackball you. Yes, I don't doubt that people have attempted to blackball me, absolutely. But if you don't feed me, if you don't provide my blessings to me, then you can't starve me. You can't deny my blessings to me. And once I truly double down on knowing that, like, God holds all the keys to whatever's meant for D1, that's when I really started just moving with a level of boldness that's like, yeah, I'm standing on this, you heard me? And you might try to have a vendetta against me or whatever, but I guarantee I'm going to exceed anything that you could have did for me, and then I'm gonna look down at you, and you're gonna be like, oh shoot, how you got up there?
But see, he's talking from an observer perspective. So by him saying that, we're not supposed to be looking down to our brothers and sisters, because when we're doing this, we try to think of a level highly than what we're really at. So no matter how high you think you are, you can still get knocked right back down to your lowest point. And when you're at your lowest point, don't forget what people seen when you were at your highest, because they'll remind you of what you used to know or where you used to be at. So once you're back at your lowest point, people won't help you back up, because why? They seen what you were and how you thought when you were at this higher level. So once you reach the highest point, don't look down on anybody, because there's a point in time to where you were literally right at the bottom with the rest of society, or the rest of the buckets, or the rest of the crabs in the bucket. Nigga, what? Come on, Spirit, tighten up.
Because that's the only one I submit to is up there. You hear me? I know they got people that's trying to blackball me right now, in any way, shape, or form that they feel like they could. I absolutely know that, bro. I know it. And for a long time, it's been that way. It's been that way for over a decade. There was somebody in New Orleans who I knew for a fact, who worked in the industry, who was trying to blackball me because I wouldn't sign a deal with them. You know, right when they saw that I was about to get signed to a major label, try to blackball me, talk down to me, told me, oh, you ain't gonna never get to this certain level because you trying to do things your own way. Like, man, I done been through all this stuff. And, you know, you got to learn how to respond with love. And not just love Jesus, but you got to learn how to love Judas as well. The people who don't rock with you, you know, you got to be like, that's how dope and mature I am. I'm gonna still learn how to love you, but.
So that basically concludes that. But now we gotta go into the presentation, because everything that he was speaking on was definitely validated. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the road, because you already know, like, that, like, we just can't leave off on that, because most people will be like, they'll just watch it, but they won't digest it. So for us, we're going to meditate on the knowledge. Once the PowerPoint wants to get involved, so we'll be back. Gatekeepers. These are entities that hide from the outsiders trying to look within. If they choose you into position, then you can evolve into one. But there's a price that you have to pay. And I'll put this quote right here because it was so wise, and it happens to us on a daily basis, but we're so ignorant to our own blissfulness. We don't get to see through the symbolism that these other corporations or these other commodities are placing upon our own frequency. To annihilate indigenous populations eventually paves the way to our own annihilation. Did you hear that? To annihilate indigenous populations eventually paves the way to our own annihilation. Meaning that these beings knew if they eliminated carbonated beings, people of color, doesn't matter where you are. You can be Native American, you can be Hispanic, Dominican, Jamaican, it does not matter. If you are of color, for them to eliminate us, that means that they will eliminate their fantasies with us. So they knew that they couldn't do that. But how can they keep us from learning who we really are as the chosen ones? Because understand, many of us are not equal physically, even though we are equal spiritually. But people don't seem to understand that because they don't know history or their history. They are the only people who practice sustainable living. We think they are relics of the past, but they may be the gatekeepers to our future. Meaning that carbonated beings are the gatekeepers to everybody's future. Why is that? Because we know what the future is, because we have lived through that while being in the present and going through our past. Because the past, present, and future do not exist to an infinite being. So by you being an infinite being, they don't want you to know your infinity by going beyond your future, by being in the current moment right now. So once we do that, I got my sources right here for y'all as well. But when it comes down to the music industry or any industry, it doesn't even matter. This is for all the rappers who want to be a rapper. And this does not mean it's an accurate depiction. Understand, it's all information that you have within yourself. So once you learn things, you can always meditate on this stuff. Go out in nature and get your research. You can read books. You can get downloads. Once you learn something, meditate on it or pray about it, and have the Spirit guide you towards your own discernment. Drink your own water to your own truth. And once you digest that water, you'll begin to want more, because you'll be thirsty for more knowledge. But once you do that, you have to use discernment for whatever you're doing, because no matter what you know spiritually, you still have work to go through physically. So the artist, through self-management, so you are the artist right here. You are the artist, and this is for all the people who want to be rappers, R&B singers, jazz players, country singers, whatever the case may be. This is you. Now you're going through, at this moment, you're going through your mixtapes, your albums, your singles, all of that. Self-management or professional management puts out their own CD or gets signed to. So now this is not accurate, but understand, once you have this, once you get to a certain stature in life where you're putting on for your city, you put on for your name, then you'll be self-managed, meaning that people will want to sign you, and they'll probably, but at this time they don't do CDs anymore. But this is where Spotify and Apple Music come in, and TikTok and Instagram. People will sign with you, or get you to sign to them so that they can promote your music some more. Because of course, you being an independent artist, you're not going to be able to get that music out by yourself because nobody knows you. But if people are connected to these higher corporations, they can help get you into these doors, but it's up to you to walk through them. So record labels who send the artist records to radio station music directors and so on and so forth as well for airplay consideration, and send records too. So before we even get into all this, before you even can get onto the radio, they have to be able to ask themselves, what can you do for us? What can you do for us? Because we already heard the drug dealer, we already heard the single mother, we already heard the deadbeat dads, we already heard about thought music, twerking music, gunplay, drug game, like all these different genres we done heard. We already been through that, and we see it every single day. So what can you do to not only go viral, but to maintain the attention of kids, teenagers, adults, and older adults? If you can maintain that and move them a certain way at a certain wavelength, and they can follow your journey by your message, then you can go through this radio station music director and then get to the writers and the editors, because at this point now you have became an industry plant. So they're beginning to plant you into society or into the algorithm of social media, and people will be like, yeah, this person came out of nowhere. Yes, all part of the plan, because they are planning to sway you a certain way from your own enlightenment. It's meant to distract you. Celebrities, musicians, all these people who are higher status of a normal citizen, they are distractions to distract you from what you're supposed to be doing, which is finding out your purpose and who you are in this life. And writers and editors at magazines and newspapers for possible press exposure, while buyers at distributors are persuaded to sell the records to retail stores. Mostly white people own this, and black people as well. But as we're going down through this list, artists themselves or booking agents attempt to secure live performances to play in front of their audience. As above, so below. As an artist, before you can even reach a certain audience, you have to make sure that no matter what you do, they love your message. So before you even get to the arenas, the coliseums, all these different venues that you want to get to, you have to get it from the mud. But because of that, who you are, like we stated earlier, on the fence. There's some people who can get within the music industry. They can be on the fence. Like, we love your message, but it's too bright. We got too many people who look up to you. So can you turn it down just a bit? Like, we can't control you, but we can't control what you do to society. We don't need you to uplift any more black people, especially, because if you do that, then our pyramid scheme will crumble. So we need you to work for us, not against us. You feel me? Because don't forget, we got this moolah right above your head. Do you want the money? And you're probably like, man, 100 mil do sound good. Exactly. So just sign this right here. Your life will change. And niggas will be like, man, I say less. So this is where you have to be careful who you're listening to. Emasculation of carbonated beings. And shout out to Malcolm X for this. You have to be very careful introducing the truth to the black man who has never previously heard the truth about himself. The black brother and sister is so brainwashed that he may reject the truth when he first hears it. So like this video right now, somebody in the comment section may be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're this, you're that. It's just like, you have to drop a little bit on him at a time and wait a while to let that sink in before advancing to the next step. So in order for a tree to go, in order for a tree to grow, you have to plant the seeds at a certain time limit, a certain speed. You cannot rush the seeds that you are planting. Why is that? People cannot firmly comprehend what you are saying, how you are saying it, and when you are saying it, because we got to understand timelines as well. So when it comes to timelines, carbonated beings have been emasculated since the dawn of time, since BCEC CEAD, all them timelines before 2024, we have been emasculated. We have been at the bottom of the totem pole. Why is that? Because other ethnic groups know how strong we are together and united. The truly awakened black person never makes disparaging remarks about his people or of their collective state, because a truly awakened knows that white oppressive forces create and control all black statistics and narratives, literally. So a lot of times within our statistics, within people, not even just carbonated beings, but all over the case, they will come up with fake statistics, fake numbers. Why? Because there are many people who are statistic majors or accounting majors or whatever the case may be. So they study these things, and like they know if a certain number looks a certain way, somebody who's awakened, they'll be like, hey, bro, the system is fucking with the numbers, bro. This many people ain't die. This many people ain't homeless. This many people ain't illiterate, this and that. But once they do that, we got to understand that these forces control our internet. They control our algorithm. How is that? Because they are the watchers. These fallen angels have been watching us before we were even watching ourselves on an ego perspective. The truly awakened black person never imitates and absorbs the negative lifestyles and behaviors of black people as depicted within the media. This is a fact as well. But that's actually cap though, because there are some awakened people who still do participate in the matrix, and that's okay. These corporations, they are able to run whatever we think is true or fiction, because if they provide the truth on social media, then it's like we don't have any drama, we don't have anything to gossip about. So therefore, if everybody keeps hearing the truth, then everybody will know what they came here to do. But why would we want that for you? Think about that, how an elite-minded person would think. Why would we want you to succeed far beyond than what we perceive you to be? Because a truly awakened black person knows that white oppressive forces creates and controls the black media images. The truly awakened black person does not revere the Bible, because the truly awakened is not a mentally enslaved fool. I like that because even with the Bible as well, the Bible is still depicting slavery upon us. So no matter what, even if you're reading the Bible, you're basically reading your own reflection. You're reading your own history book in front of your face in the current moment so that you can build for the future. So there are many people that are reading the Bible, but they still can't comprehend it. Why? Because it's a metaphor. I mean, people take that shit literally, but it's nothing but stories that came from the oppressor's mindset. Why is that? Because they were watching us the whole entire time. So as they're watching us, they edited our stories to their liking to make themselves seem more superior than how we perceive us, or actually how we perceive ourselves to be, because we are the superior race. Before there was white people, Asians, Arabs, Dravidians, all of that, we were all one color, and that was carbonated beings. Every color combined together is black. You are deaf, you are everything, you are everything and nothing. So if you knew that, imagine how much power you would have within your own spirit, your own soul, your own flesh. The spirit that influences the music you listen to eventually makes their way in you. And that's exactly why the music industry is the biggest thing, because don't forget what Lucifer was by bringing himself down. These beings, if you study Luciferianism, demonology, Satanism, atheism, these people know about the satanic Bible. And why is that? Because they have created it. They were able to speak to a being or entity or a species of beings cosplaying as Satan or God, because people don't understand the real meaning of what Satan is. Satan is nothing but a title that beings, fallen angels, hide behind. So people who are in the music industry are literally working for Lucifer or Baphomet or Satan, and that is to sway people a certain way to get them and to leech off of their energy. So when people are walking around and you see how their mind is working, how they talk, how they react to certain things, they're being foreshadowed by demons. Their mind is literally constructed, it is literally guided by a demon. So their spirit is screaming for help. But how can a brick wall help itself if it doesn't know it's a brick wall? How can a brick wall help itself if it doesn't know it's a brick wall? So that means this person who is getting influenced by music has to help themselves. And many people don't know how to help themselves because their own parents can't even help themselves. So if your parents can't help you as a kid, then who do you think will help you? The music industry. Lucifer, he will shine his light through music artists that you look up to, and they will rap or sing situations that your family went through or that you're going through at the current moment. And if you can relate to these thoughts that are literally on a beat, because all music is just a manifestation of affirmations, literally moving you on a certain instrumental with a certain frequency. That's why many Instrumentals aren't in 432 hertz, they're in 440 hertz for a reason. 808 beats, because once you hear a certain beat, a certain drum, it makes you think a certain way. Think about how powerful music is. Before there were lyrics, we were literally singing frequencies. We had frequencies before we had lyrics. And that's a divine story beyond a physical 3D realm, because we're in a plane of existence that's lower than our higher projection. So as we're going into heaven mentally, because heaven don't even exist as a place, but as a mental capacity that we can comprehend as a state of mind, these beings knew before we were even rapping or singing to God, we were singing to God by a frequency, by harmonizing our voices together in unison. And by us doing that, we unified our voices together to please who? Our higher selves. But they knew that, and so they brought that projection down here, because everything they did, all the information that they have, comes from these angels who are literally allowed to do these things in their kingdom. Because who gave them access to this realm that we call earth? Almighty God. So therefore, Satan and his disciples, or Lucifer and his disciples, only have as much power as Almighty God allows, meaning the Galactic Federation, the people or these beings who are cosplaying or masquerading as God. God and Satan are titles placed upon energies. There are different beings that are literally under these different titles that are working their magic behind the scenes within society, within every dimension possible that you can't see. So everything you see in Hollywood, Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, all these things are designed by beings, because we're in a stage and we're all following our own scripted plays. That's why people who are oblivious can't seem to comprehend open-minded perspectives from elite deities. And that's what they wanted us to think. They don't want a simulator to know that they're in a created simulation created by their own simulation. As a simulator, they do not want you as a simulator to wake up to your own simulation that you have created. So therefore, these are the magicians behind the curtains. They know that human consciousness co-creates reality based on what the mind believes to be true and real. This process is amplified when instilled in the collective consciousness of the masses. They are projecting what they want into your mind so that you build it for them. Literally just cover that. And as you can see, all these beings are on the table. They knew they did this because they know, like, they don't know us, but they know us. So for us to bring these things into fruition, we have to watch them and what they're going through. We have to get social media. We have to let them live their lives. And as they're living their lives, we can watch them and see what patterns they do on a daily basis. Oh, she's going through a heartbreak. This man broke her heart and she's going to slash his tires. We can get an artist to sing about that whole topic, that whole genre over here. Okay, this generation right here, these people, these beings, they're in poverty. So they know how it feels to kill people, to steal, to, break down in houses, to, stealing people's cars and shit like that. So we'll get a rapper to talk about this shit. Okay, consciousness, we'll get a rapper to talk about this. And a musician who talks about love, we'll get them to talk about this. So they have, all these people are in these rooms talking about different things, and they're watching on social media, and people will come up with their own opinions, and they'll sit there and they'll hear many different perspectives and be like, hey, did you guys hear this? Nah, Bill, bring it on over here, man. Look at this, man. So these people really think that this man loves them? This man loves them if he cheats on them, but not knowing that he's just cheating on himself because he doesn't know who he wants to be. Genius, man. We can get somebody who's a manipulator who can manipulate these people into thinking that cheating is okay. That's why DDG came out with a song named It's Okay to Be a Hoe. Really? It's okay to be a gardening tool? It's okay to sleep with multiple people while you have kids and a wife of your own. Rituals and doors. How humans inherit magical powers. Spirit lineage and blood lineage. Powers and wisdom you master throughout past lives and reincarnation, and activate. In reincarnation, powers inherited via genetics and DNA from your bloodline. Oh, so okay, I'm reading both sides. Okay, from your bloodline, memories and powers from ancestors. Activate them. Past life regression and calling back your powers and memories from your past life. Use a mirror every night for 5 minutes, just looking at yourself in silence. Consciously call back your powers. Activate them, healing family traumas and calling your ancestors and rituals to help you discover the powers of the family. Light a white candle each night and channel ancestral healing. So you can do that if you would like. But with rituals and doors, as you're walking into these doors, many people are able to see the hidden symbolism within these rituals, and that's ordained for a reason, because you're in a trance. You were in a trance when you were born. It's like why I had these two pictures side by side as well, because in that circle, many people can't see the spiritual life that's going on behind the physical. So people who are going on behind closed doors, selling their soul, bending over backwards for these fake Jews, they don't get to see how their energy is being stripped from them. So meaning that many people know that they should have given themselves higher morals and integrity to leave that room and just go find another purpose to pursue. But no, many people want to get out of the hood, get their mom that house or their dad that house, and they want to live that life that they always dreamed of. So as you're placed in this circle, these different beings will come out of what? The lower projection of what we call heaven. But they're only activated by these gatekeepers. So you, as an outsider looking in, you won't be able to see what's going on. So if somebody told you that they're doing demonistic practices behind closed doors, you would be like, niggas believe in that shit, man. Here we go, these conspiracy theorists, not knowing these are real life demons telling you what they do behind closed doors. And they're making sure that you cannot comprehend what they do behind closed doors. Because if you knew what they were doing behind closed doors, then you would understand how powerful demonology and witchcraft is. Within seconds of watching TV, your mind slips into a flicker-induced hypnotic trance state. This lowers your brain waves to a lower alpha state, commonly associated with meditation and deep relaxation. Your subconscious mind becomes highly suggestible. Thanks to the flicker rate and information you receive from TV, becomes part of your memory pool. This can alter one's belief as the information seeps into the subconscious mind and people are programmed. This trance is why you'll see children with their mouths open while watching TV, and why when you are watching TV, someone else can leave the room and walk by you without you noticing. The TV is the greatest weapon ever invented, and you can free your mind greatly by avoiding television. It's not even just television. That's what the phone as well, and game systems also. If you're watching anybody on social media or a TV show, you're watching, streaming platforms, all of these things, they were placed into our life because they know. And what's crazy, they're watching this right now. So even if you turn the TV off, they're still watching you. So because of that, these people don't seem to understand that when you are watching TV, you are literally placed inside of another dimension that you think is real, which is why you sit there and you're like, or you're watching your favorite streamer, it's like they do certain things with shapes, sounds, different frequencies, the way people's voices are, and just the different titles and the different images that are shown into your face, because it's dopamine for your mind, oxytocin, serotonin, all of these things that are boosting your mind. So your ego finds it pleasing because why? Your childlike self remembers that imagination spectrum that you had. It's like a SpongeBob, imagination. That's the most powerful tool in the universe. So somebody manifested a television. Why? It's telling lies to your vision. So if you're even looking on your phone and you're seeing your phone, you see people just living their life, or they're telling you something on social media, they are telling you a lie through a screen. So you have to use discernment when you're listening to people or hearing their point of view, because some people only want to be known for lying to you and manipulating your ego. And if they can manipulate your ego, you are enslaved to their mind, and you will give them the attention that they don't deserve. Ignorance and curses. Pain travels through family lines until someone is ready to heal it in themselves. By going through the agony of healing, you no longer pass the poison chalice onto the generations that follow. It is incredibly important and sacred work. Literally. And I got this. Yeah, we're going to go deeper into that. So the lake of the mind, who am I? My sensory experience, physical awareness, urges, reflexes, and functioning. This is the beginning of you drowning yourself. Literally going into your mind. Who are you? If you want to ask yourself, what are you here for? Because many people will probably see this and be like, damn, bro, the industry that damn wicked. Yes, my nigga. That's what happens when you're trying to please your flesh. With your spirit has everything. You're all knowing. But as a flesh, you're a baby. Your subconscious mind is a baby. So you have to guide your ego like you would guide your own child. Your daily life. Insistent replays and previews of my life, activities, and situation. So what are you going to do on your daily life? Because you're going to use experiences, but it's up to you to choose what you want to do on a day-to-day basis. So if you do nothing, that is your fault. Your persona. So what's crazy, I'm trying to see, because it's blurry, but I'm trying to do my best. Self-concept, self-talks, opinions, expectations, preferences, and habits. All these things are beautiful because no matter how highly we think of ourselves, we will still talk down on ourselves. We will always create these negative blockades or barriers into our lives, and that's okay because we're human beings per se. But what are we being? It's like, no, you should be becoming who? God. Your story, your personal history reruns, your conditioning. And then what does that say? Meta self-talks? So yes, we all got a story. So as you're building your story up, you're going to be the rose in the concrete. So as you're doing is your mythology. So your temperament, your personality type, your recurrent themes, plots, scripts, main characters, archetypes. I don't know what that says. So validations and issues, but this is so little. Denials and projections, your tragic flaws, shadow, symbolism, metaphor, synchronicity. Many people, so mythology or ideologies, theologies, whatever you want to call it, astronomy, astrological senses. Many people have their own indication of what God is or religion or frequency, witchcraft, whatever the case may be. All these things are the same exact story. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. Many people still can't comprehend to see the indication that we will all believe what we want to believe. As long as you believe in the Almighty God or divine creator, that's all that matters to God. Anything else that we believe in does not matter. So if you believe in Satanism, the Most High does not care. The universe does not care. Why? Because it's still energy. It's just a lower projection of what the Most High will want you to do. But you're going to do it anyways because you are programmed to your unconscious ways. Your secrets. Repressed material, traumas, regrets, losses, potential defenses, unresolved issues, feelings, drives, and whatever that is. So you had to let go of your secrets. So when you're diving into this water, you're literally facing all the things that your mind put in the back of the back burner. It's like, no. You need to look at your demons in the goddamn face, and you need to say to yourself, this is what I was going through, huh? These are all the secrets that I tried to keep a secret, but they're not a secret anymore because now I have faced my fears that I tried to keep a secret. It's time to wake up, baby. No matter what, them demons will keep hiding from you for a reason. They will keep hiding what you knew was the truth back then, but you suppressed it because you were like, no, let me go and move on. That wasn't real. Now that shit was real. Whatever you went through was real. So now it's time for you to do what? Hear your inner voice, discernment, wisdom, self-purpose, values, and will. As you're doing that, you're diving deeper. So you're basically drowning. You're drowning. You're like, you're drowning type shit. But as you're drowning, who is there to save you with their hand out? Almighty, baby. Almighty. So my glimpse, past experience. I don't know what the hell that says. And then your true self, the real self, the one. You are the one. You are the one. Let's go and get this PowerPoint too, because that basically concludes the PowerPoint. But we gotta understand too that in these societies, they're literally buck breaking our men and women out there. And why is that? Because they know that when it comes down to us, if we allow them to emasculate us, then they're going to keep doing it. Which is why I got this article pulled up by Andre. Bug breaking, the worst form of punishment against enslaved men and women. So it's easy to forget how slave owners turned sexual abuse against slaves into a weapon. However, sexual abuse of slaves, including males, was frequently used to maintain order or to punish any who dared to revolt. And that comes with right now. So imagine walking into your boss's office and they say, like D1 just told you in the video, they hold your contract behind their hand and they tell you, if you don't get on your knees and suck this meat, you are not getting paid $500 million. Do you want that $500 million? And it's like, if you dare to speak out about that, don't forget, we got something on you. So it's up to you. What do you want to do? You can either walk away or you can get this money, but lose your integrity and your morality. So they knew that. And if you dare try to speak up, they may even assassinate your character. They may even kill you. That's where the fake death of celebrities comes in. Sometimes physical punishment as whipping a person was not enough. And what's crazy, this is where in Get Out, they were talking about the fantasies that these Caucasians will come up with because they love to fantasize about black people. They want to sleep with them. That's like why selective breeding was going on in slave plantations. They will watch, and people was crazy. People within our own villages and our own tribes, they would sell us out as well for selective breeding. Like, there's a Tyler Perry show that's out right now that's talking about that as well, and that's literally on air. It's amazing. It's amazing what a sellout can do. And so slave owners turned to something which would affect the slaves on a psychological level, such as bug breaking, exactly where generational curses and trauma comes in, because they knew that even back then, these slave times, so even before 1800s, 1600s, all of that, all them timelines, they were doing this even back then. So somebody be like, no, they weren't doing that. You just don't remember it because you're not used to it. But there's some people who are used to it and they can't speak up because why? For one of it, if somebody told somebody like, yeah, I just got violated, they may die. Nobody will believe them. You try to tell on the enemy. Why would the enemy arrest the enemy for what the enemy did to you? Oh, it's you? We're not going to arrest them, but they'll act like, you know what, we'll get a file on, we'll get a case on file for you and we'll make sure that we get you with the detail. They're not doing shit for you. The police work for you know who, my nigga. Like, these slave masters are literally police officers in real lifetime. This form of punishment may have not been the most painful from a physical perspective, at least compared to other forms of punishment, but on a psychological level, this was devastating. Imagine as a carbonated being, as a African man, imagine your punishment. You revolt against the oppressor. You will revolt against your slave master. And they tell you to bend over in front of your wife and your kids. And they're going to bug break you. And if you don't do it, we will beat your ass till you bleed out and die. Imagine having to do that in front of your wife. On a psychological level, she's going to look at you like, damn. Bug breaking, also known as breaking the buck, was a punishment inflicted upon enslaved men in the American South during the 18th and 19th century. The term buck referred to an enslaved man who had been deemed resistant or rebellious. To break the buck, slave masters would use physical and psychological methods to subdue and control the enslaved person. Just like with the Diddy situation and Usher. Think about all these people who are in Hollywood. They go to this exact same situation. Exactly why I'm bringing this up, because you're probably like, nigga, this shit is weird. But it's like, my nigga, this happens to our people daily. Like, we're getting fucked daily by the system. We are literally pimps to a bunch of hoes who are getting pimped out by a bunch of hoes. So think about this. We are getting pimped by a bunch of pimps who are getting pimped by their own ego and their own ignorance. And we allowed it because we have no idea who we are. We have no sense of self. So because of that, we're getting fucked by the system daily, my nigga. Think about this shit. We pay for beverages. We pay for food. We pay for fruit. It's expensive to eat healthy, but it's cheap to eat unhealthy. Come on, bro. Physical punishment was a common form of bug breaking. Enslaved men would be beaten with whips, paddles, or other instruments, often to the point of severe injury or death. Whipping was particularly prevalent as a form of punishment, with slave masters using the whip to inflict pain and instill fear. In addition to whipping, enslaved men were also subjected to other forms of physical abuse, such as branding, mutilation, and ape. You feel? So even branding, what they do right now in the industry, all these people that you see on the forefront within, the entertainment industry, the music industry, all these different industries, they have already been branded. They have been groomed to your liking. So when you see people with these panda eyes, they are groomed. They have been branded from the back end for their hazing process to get ahead in life. And what's crazy, a lot of these famous celebrities as kids, their parents will sell them to these parents will sacrifice their kids to these industries to get them and their family up out of their current situation. So I'm going to make sure. Psychological methods were also used to break the buck. Enslaved men were often isolated from others and denied basic necessities such as food and water. If you did not, and I feel like just by reading that, being denied basic necessities such as food and water. So imagine being a man, right? And the thing is, too, we gotta understand, a lot of these people who are going through these hazing processes, who are bending over backwards or tossing their salad to these grooming masters or these manipulation tactics, some of them enjoy this shit. But imagine you don't enjoy it, but in order to stay alive, you have to go through it. Imagine as a man, you have to not only protect your family, your wife and your kids, not only that, you are still enslaved. But you can leave anytime you want. But what will happen if you leave? You don't know what happens to your wife, your kids. You may get shot in the head. They may capture you, cut off your feet, cut off your hands, cut off your toes, cut off your legs, and bring you back to the plantation. Or you can run away and run to another plantation where these owners will see that you're a carbonated being, and they will say, what plantation do you belong to, boy? It don't even matter. You're going to come with us now. So not only did you run away from slavery, you went right back into slavery again. And just imagine not wanting to do what your master tells you to do. So if your master says, bend over, I'm horny. And you say, no. No? You going to tell me no? What do you think is going to happen? It's like, in order to exert control over them, they were also forced to witness the punishment of others as a means of instilling fear and compliance. So we already said that. They were also forced to witness the punishment of others. How are you forced to witness emasculation in public? How are you forced to watch embarrassment in the public? So we outnumbered them, but we watched our brothers and sisters suffer in the hands of the Caucasians or the fake Jews or these fallen angels. We allowed fallen angels to emasculate and enslave our ego because we don't know who we really even are through our own ego. And that's why it was designed to have a government, meaning to govern your mind. It's really mind control. That's the whole point of these tribes who look just like us. Reason why they sold us to the other side for guns and for fortune and for prosperity and abundance. And they didn't like us. Why is that? It's a war beyond a psychological perspective that people cannot comprehend right now. The intention of bug breaking was to make enslaved men compliant and submissive. Same exact thing we're seeing right now. So with Diddy getting exposed, that's the whole key right there. He's a gatekeeper. Clive Davis, a gatekeeper who groomed Diddy. So he had to go do the same thing that Clive Davis went through. The cycle is going to keep continuing, even in Hollywood, Atlanta, whatever case may be. If you're going to these industries, they will make you submit to their rituals. Because if you want to get to that fame and fortune, you got to do what we say. And if you don't, you won't be a multimillionaire. You won't be on every social media platform. You won't be getting millions of views. You won't be getting millions of likes. You won't be on podcasts. You won't be on talk shows. You won't be on shows or movies, period. So if you don't get on your knees and do what I say, you won't get into that position that you claim that you want. It's just that simple. So to control their behavior and prevent them from resisting or running away. However, the practice was inhumane and dehumanizing, causing great physical and psychological harm to the enslaved men. It has also contributed to the perpetuation of the institution of slavery and the oppression of black people in the United States. It's just like, and we don't gotta go deeper into that, but it's just like, you get it. This is what they were doing. Like, the legacy of butt breaking continues to affect the descendants of enslaved people today as they continue to face systematic discrimination and racism. It is important to acknowledge and remember the atrocities of the past in order to work towards a more just and equal society for all. And it's just like, we don't gotta read that title. But the use of this practice was to measure the discipline among slave masters in the Caribbean increase and beyond that. So the Americas, South America, Central America, North America. There you go, yeah. Mexico, all the different continents, my nigga. I'm tripping. So by them doing this, they were doing this all over the place. So these beings were literally placing themselves where, like, so different invaders, like Christopher Columbus, they were coming to different lands or extraterrestrial lands, planes of existence. They were getting on their spaceships or ships as they portrayed it in the history books. They were going to these lands, and as they seen us, they were going with their plan. The ability to move between plantations allowed white males to ape male slaves. Sex farms sprang from the punishment because it was used so frequently. These sex farms permitted several slave owners to collectively ape male slaves as retribution for any alleged infraction. Literally had selective breeding farms, and people don't see this, like they don't bat an eye to it. It's like sex trafficking in the music industry as well. Meaning these gatekeepers that you're looking at or that you're listening to, they are literally a part of sex trafficking rings behind closed doors. Bug breaking may have been used as a way for homosexual slave owners to play out their sexual fantasies on men without drawing attention to their orientation because of its enormous popularity. During this time, homosexuality would have been frowned upon, but strangely, aping male slaves as a method of punishment was permitted. By who? By who? And the thing is, if you didn't go down without a fight, that lets you know that their enslavement on the mind worked. Because there's no way that you're not dying to fight for your life. You're allowing this oppressor to go in the back end of your rectum for his pleasure and amusement. Male ape is a taboo subject that is rarely talked about. This will account for why bug breaking appears to have been a lost aspect of history that is not discussed or covered in the classroom. Even the most horrific incidents in our past must be remembered and discussed in order to prevent repetition. Although sexual assault or sexual assault is still used to instill fear and establish power, slavery has mostly been abolished. Literally, best capped though, because we're still enslaved. So it was never abolished. It was literally just resurrected once again. So they told us that it was abolished. But if you believe that, you're literally a fool to a bunch of fools. You're believing their foolishness. The fact that ape terrorizes, devastates, and establishes power over populations is why it's still a common war crime. Male ape is extremely harmful when weaponized, since it is a certain way to disable the normative culture due to its forbidden nature. That was a great article. And we can keep going as well. We can go on all day. But these things right here, these indications are telling us that no matter what you do as a brother, even a sister out here, this thing goes for you as well. No matter what you do not have to bend over backwards for people who do not care about you. They only care what you can do for them. They do not care about your well-being or any of that. Because when you want to rest, when you want to lay down, when you want to just go on trips, get right back to work, slave. You are a cash cow to these corporations or these industries. Don't forget why you signed your signature to these industries, because they literally have something dangling over your head. So if you are an artist, a musician, if you're a content creator, you're an athlete, whatever the case may be, if you are trying to get into fame, fortune, any industry of your liking, you had to research what you're getting yourself into. Because if you cannot articulate fine print, if you cannot use spiritual discernment, if you cannot interpret tongues from different demons and angels cosplaying as demons, you will be lost, and you will end up selling your soul, your integrity, your morality, your value within yourself. You will sell your soul for manipulation of money. So you'll be chasing the bag for the rest of your life instead of letting it attract to you. And why is that? Because you want attention from people who don't have attention for themselves. So because they don't know themselves, they're distracted by what? You, because of what you provide to them, because you are the value in their life, because they have no value to provide within their lives. So they're looking and they're striving for that indication from you, because these kids can't go into the crib and ask their mom and dad for mental health advice or spiritual advice or how to elevate their lives. A lot of these kids can't ask their parents how to get rich because their parents aren't even rich. So they're looking for these celebrities to get to that next level. But it's like new levels, new devils. If you are not learning, you are literally killing yourself. And if you get into these industries thinking that it's a walk in the park, think again, my brother, and my sister. Because if you think you walk in there thinking you own that bitch, try again. You will get assassinated along with your character. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. I love you so much. Have a great, wonderful day. I'm gone.